Every courtroom has the name of a judge on its door, but the judge doesn't own the courthouse. We do. These courthouses are operated by judges for us, the people. And in the United States, we have the right to observe and report on what happens inside our courts to make sure judges follow the law and people like Britney Spears are not being abused. The people are not the enemy of the court. We own the court, and we demand access to the Britney Spears conservatorship hearing and every other non-confidential court proceeding in the county of Los Angeles. My name is Christopher Melcher. I'm a California attorney, and I have filed on behalf of USA Today a request for public and media access to the Britney Spears conservatorship proceedings and all other non-confidential hearings in Los Angeles courthouses. And I'm going to discuss in this video why I'm making that request, where it stands today, what my plans are if it's denied by the Superior Court, and then I'm going to discuss our constitutional right in the United States for court access. I've been a legal commentator for television news media and print media for about 15 years. And we've seen, as I've worked up these stories, some hostility that certain courts have had towards the public and media, making it very difficult for us to access court records, sometimes closing proceedings and sealing records and doing other things that have really made it burdensome for us to find out what's happening inside the court. I had a conversation with a reporter about a month or so ago, and she mentioned the frustration that she shares with this limitations on court access and said, it would be nice to do something about it, but it's such a big project and we would need to get a lawyer to help us with it. And I thought, well, gee, I'm a lawyer. I can help with this. I feel the same way. And that was the start of the idea. And we are now in LA Superior Court asking to reopen its doors. Previously, before the pandemic, the only way to really get access to the court was going in person. The Los Angeles Superior Court had no video technology for hearings. It only had a phone system called Court Call, where parties or attorneys could call in to basically a speakerphone in the courthouse. But when the pandemic caused the shutdown of the court and they started to reopen, they launched this video and audio program called LA Court Connect, and it's basically like a Zoom. It's a great program because going to court could mean losing a day of work or having to find childcare. But with video access, they can go about their lives while still appearing in court. And for attorneys, we don't have to drive to the court, find parking, wait around for our case to be heard, all while we're on the clock for clients. I might have to charge a client 4 or 5 hours of time to make what could be a 15-minute court appearance. Now, with video access, I'm just charging for the 15 minutes that I'm on record with the court. This is really an access to justice issue for litigants, so they can appear more easily in court, or if they want to hire a lawyer, it's much more affordable for them. When the LA Superior Court started this program, they must have realized that they can't exclude the public and media from having remote access also, so they created a separate program for audio access to the media in public called the Remote Audio Access Program, or RAP. And that was a program for the public or media to listen in on non-confidential court proceedings in all of the LA County courthouses. On June 23, Britney Spears spoke in court, and people were listening in on the RAP program, and somebody recorded the proceedings and broadcast it. We don't know who did it, but the court assumed that it was somebody on the remote access audio program, and Judge Penny on the record shut down the audio feed during the hearing. Now, it may be true that it was somebody on RAP, but it could also have been somebody on LA Court Connect. There were a whole bunch of people, parties and attorneys on that platform receiving the same audio feed. So the court has no way of knowing whether it was a member of the public who recorded it against court rules, or if it was somebody who had invited on LA Court Connect that did it. But the court blamed the public for it. And in the next day, shut down the whole program for remote audio access for the public and the media. And that was a complete overreaction. First of all, these are public court proceedings, and Britney herself was given the opportunity to ask that the June 23 hearing be closed to the public, and she said, no, I want this to be open. People have already exploited my life enough. They might as well hear what I have to say. There is a court rule that says you cannot record a court proceeding, and people need to follow that. But it's a public court proceeding. What is the problem with recording it and broadcasting it? What is the difference between going to court and listening to it in person or listening over this phone line than hearing a recorded version of it later? There isn't. But the court was upset that its rule was violated and then overreacted by shutting down the entire program. It didn't look at any less restrictive means like finding out who actually violated the rule and punishing them. It could have given different warnings, but didn't do that. It just shut down the whole program. But it still allowed parties and attorneys and other people to appear via LA Court Connect. And the only option for the public or media to observe these proceedings was to actually go down to court, fight for a seat, listen in, and take notes with pen and paper. And that's what happened on July 14th. Britney Spears spoke again in her conservatorship proceeding. But this time, the public couldn't listen in remotely. Only the people who were in court were able to hear what she had to say, and the court would not allow anyone to have any devices, laptops, or phones with them. It was only pen and paper. They had to take notes by hand, wait for a break, go outside, and then report on what's happening. And that's an undue burden on the right of access. This request that I've filed for USA Today is still being considered by the Superior Court. And in the description, there's a link to the filing if you want to read the whole thing. I'm concerned that we're running out of time. The next hearing is September 29th. And the public and media need to know what's going to happen at that hearing. This is going to be extremely important with the request to remove Jamie Spears. We have a right and need to understand what the court is doing at that hearing. We can't just wait until afterwards to know what's going on. We need to know what's happening real time, firsthand observation. We can't rely on somebody going into the courtroom and taking notes and then trying to relay those reliably to us. Firsthand observation, whether in person or through remote means, lets us know the demeanor of the judge, the tone of voice that's being spoken in court, many subtleties that we can't get from somebody's notes or a transcript or a court filing. That's why we need access. And in the United States, the federal and state constitutions guarantee us the right of access. We have a constitutional right of free speech that includes the right to express opinions, the right to assemble, and the right of the press. And included in that is the right to observe government proceedings, because the government acts for the people. And we need to observe what goes on in our government to exercise our right to comment on it. And that holds the government accountable for doing its job. That transparency is beneficial to the court, because the court has no legitimacy if it does things in secret. It's only when it exposes its process to the public for scrutiny, for reporting by the press, does the court maintain its legitimacy. We need to know what's going on, and we have a constitutional right to that. And some may say, well, hey, the public can come down or reporters can go in to the courtroom, but there's limited seats available in any courtroom. And we are in a pandemic. It's really not safe to have people traveling from all over the place to go sit inside these courtrooms and be packed in there. That makes no sense. And the other thing is that they're allowing the parties and attorneys and other people to appear by video and audio, but they're excluding us, the press and the public, from doing the same. And I think that that's an equal protection violation. I understand that parties and attorneys absolutely need to be at this hearing. They have a due process right to be there and participate, whether it's remotely or in person. But we, the people and the press, also have a constitutional right to be there under the First Amendment. So they have to treat us both equally. And they're not doing that. I had helped drafting the brief for USA Today by @noted Your Honor. She's done an amazing job on gathering documents for the Britney Spears case and analyzing them and posting them on Twitter. So if you're not familiar with her feed, I would go and check that out for sure. She's a law student, has done a brilliant job in helping me understand the history of the case and some of these constitutional arguments. So I really appreciate her help. I will be asking the LA Superior Court for a hearing on my request to either grant or deny it quickly. And if the LA Superior Court denies this request, I will file a petition for writ of mandate with the Court of Appeals, 2nd District in Los Angeles. That court live streams its hearings. In the Brad Pitt-Angelina Jolie custody battle, where Angelina asked to have the judge removed, the hearing on her appeal was live streamed. And any member of the public can just log on and watch the appellate proceedings. And that's the same court that's going to rule on the request by USA Today for media access. And I got to think that if the Court of Appeal is live streaming its hearings, it understands the importance of public access to court proceedings. I appreciate all the positive comments and support that you've given me for this channel. If you have ideas for other videos that you want to hear, please just drop them in the comments and I'll see you next time.